Welcome to the Conversion Bible. This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite.
That's right.
Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. And hey, you can test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.
Great tool.
So today, we're diving deep into something that, well, it feels a bit like having a crystal ball for your Shopify store. Predictive analytics.
Exactly. It's about unlocking the future performance of your shop using the data you probably already have.
Yeah, understanding what's likely to happen, not just reporting on what, already happened.
Right. And if you're a Shopify store owner who's tired of guessing or always feeling like you're playing catch up with sales figures, it's a game changer.
Totally. Predictive analytics gives you a way to sort of see around corners, doesn't it? To prep for what's coming, get into your customers' heads, and ultimately boost those conversions.
Which is what it's all about.
So our mission today really is to show you how this tech can drive higher conversion rates and help you make decisions based on actual data, not just gut feeling.
Yeah, let's get on the same page about what it is first. So predictive analytics. Think of it like having a super smart assistant.
Okay.
It looks at all your past info sales history, customer behavior on site, marketing results, all that stuff, finds the patterns, and then predicts what could happen next.
So it's the difference between looking at last month's sales report and actually forecasting next month's sales.
Precisely. Looking forward, not just back.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. What kinds of specific questions can this crystal ball answer for someone running a Shopify store day to day? Like, practically speaking.
Yeah, that's the key question, right? For a busy owner, it helps answer things like, which of my current customers are, most likely to buy again in the next 30 days?
Okay, that's useful.
Or how many units of that new summer product line should I actually order so I don't sell out or get stuck with piles of it?
Right, the inventory nightmare.
Exactly, and maybe most relevant for boosting sales right now. Which of the people browsing my site at this moment have the highest chance of actually converting?
Those are the questions that keep store owners up at night, aren't they?
Pretty much, yeah.
So how does it work? Like, under the hood, what kinds of models are we talking about here?
Right, so there are a few main types that are really useful for Shopify. First, you've got regression models.
Regression.
Think of these as predicting amounts, like how much total revenue might you see next quarter based on, current trends in your marketing plans.
Gotcha. Predicting a number.
Exactly. Then there are classification models. These help you put things into categories, answering yes/no questions, like, will this specific visitor convert, yes or no? Is this email subscriber likely to unsubscribe? That kind of thing.
Okay, classification, yes or no.
And finally, there's time series analysis. This is invaluable for spotting and predicting trends over time, especially those crucial seasonal ups and downs in sales.
Right, like predicting the summer rush or the holiday season spike.
Precisely.
And what kind of fuel do these models need? What information from my Shopify store makes them work?
Good question. The better the info you feed them, the better the predictions. So for a Shopify store, the basics are customer browsing behavior.
What they look at, how long they stay?
Yep. Their purchase history, obviously that's huge. Inventory levels and how fast things are moving.
Makes sense.
And then data from your marketing efforts, which campaigns are actually working. Plus, understanding those seasonal patterns specific to your products.
Okay, so instead of just seeing, wow, swimsuits sold well in June, we can actually predict that jump and make sure we're ready.
Exactly. You're moving from reactive to proactive.
The core idea seems clear. Using data to see the future isn't just nice to have, it's actually a major driver of growth.
A significant driver. It's about planning ahead instead of constantly reacting. No more panic when a bestseller runs out or scratching your head over a failed campaign. You see it coming.
Okay, this sounds incredibly powerful. But is it really just for the big guys, the huge corporations? Or can, smaller Shopify stores actually see a real benefit too?
That's a really common question and a fair one. But the answer is definitely yes. Businesses of all sizes can benefit.
No,
seriously.
really?
Yeah, in fact, there's research showing that businesses using predictive analytics see on average something like an 85% higher rate of revenue growth compared to those who don't.
85%. Okay, wow, that's hard to ignore. How does it actually translate into better results for a Shopify store, practically?
It hits your main KPIs directly. Take conversion rates. If you can predict who's likely to buy, You can show them personalized offers or content right when they're most receptive. That can really bump up your average Shopify conversion rate, which, let's face it, is often pretty low, like around 1.4%.
Yeah, that 1.4% average is tough.
What else? Average order value AOV. Predictive analytics can spot products customers often buy together, so you can create smarter bundles or cross-sells that actually work.
Okay, increasing the cart
Is
size.
right. And it's huge for customer lifetime value, LTV. Identifying those potentially high-value long-term customers early on, that lets you focus your efforts on building loyalty with the right people.
So it's not just about the immediate sale, it's building a more valuable business long term.
Exactly. And it's also about saving money. Marketing becomes way more efficient because you stop wasting spend on campaigns unlikely to convert.
Targeting the spend better.
Yep. And inventory optimization, less cash tied up in stock you don't need, fewer lost sales from stockouts. Even customer service can benefit by predicting and maybe preventing issues before they blow up.
Do you have like a quick real-world example? A Shopify store, maybe?
Yeah, sure. We saw a medium-sized Shopify clothing store. They started using predictive analytics, right? And they managed to cut their marketing spend by 23%.
23%, while keeping sales up.
While maintaining the same number of conversions, they just stopped pouring money into channels their models showed weren't hitting the right people.
That's a huge saving. It really shows, in this competitive space, anticipating things gives you a massive edge. You're planning for next quarter, while others are just looking at last quarter's report.
That's the difference.
So, okay, I'm sold on the why. The next big question is the what's. What kind of data, what information do I need to make this work for my store?
Right, the ingredients. Think of it like baking a cake, you know?
Yeah.
You can have the best recipe, but without the right ingredients.
You get a mess.
Exactly. So what are the key ingredients for our predictive analytics cake here?
Lay it on us.
Okay, you're looking at two main types. Your own first-party data and some third-party data. First-party is the stuff you collect directly.
From my Shopify store itself.
Yep. Customer order history, what, when, how often they buy, their browsing activity, what pages they visit, how long they hang around,
Okay.
how they interact with your emails, opens, clicks. Even customer support interactions can be gold mines.
And third-party data. Where does that come in?
That gives you the wider context. Things like general market trends in your niche, competitor pricing.
Keeping an eye on the competition.
Definitely. Those crucial seasonal patterns for your product types. Even social media sentiment. What are people saying about your brand or industry online?
Got it. So we've got the types of data, but not all data is created equal, right? What makes data good for this?
Exactly. Quality is everything for accurate predictions. We usually talk about a few key things. First, it needs to be clean.
Cleany meaning.
Free of errors, duplicates, weird inconsistencies. Second, complete. Minimal missing info in the important fields. Third, relevant. It actually needs to relate to what you're trying to predict.
Makes sense.
Fourth, sufficient. You need enough data points for the models to actually find meaningful patterns. You can't predict much from 10 sales.
Right. Volume matters.
And finally, recent. It needs to be up to date enough to reflect current customer behavior, not how people shopped 2 years ago.
Clean, complete, relevant, sufficient, recent. Got it. It's that old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Precisely. And a really powerful way to use this data is aiming for unified customer profiles.
Unified profiles.
Yeah, bringing everything you know about a single customer purchases, browsing, emails, support tickets into one complete picture. That 360-degree view, it makes predictions way more accurate.
Now, Shopify has its own analytics built in. Are those enough to get started with this predictive stuff?
Shopify's analytics are great for the basics, understanding your store's performance, absolutely. But for the kind of advanced predictive modeling we're discussing, you'll likely find them, well, a bit limited.
So I'll probably need to look beyond the standard Shopify reports.
Probably, yeah. You'll likely need to integrate with more specialized analytics tools or platforms that offer those deeper predictive features.
And obviously, with all this data flying around, privacy is a huge deal, right?
Huge, non-negotiable. You have to make sure you're following regulations like GDPR, CCPA. Transparency is key.
Tell people what you're doing.
Exactly. Explain how you use their data. Give them control. Building trust through ethical data practices isn't just legally required. It actually makes customers more willing to share valuable info with you.
Okay, so assume we have good, clean, compliant data. Now, what specific models should I be thinking about to actually predict conversions on my Shopify store?
Right, now we get to the fun part, picking the right tools for the job. There are several models particularly good for conversion forecasting.
Okay, hit me with them. What are the go-tos?
One of the simplest but often surprisingly effective is logistic regression.
Sounds technical.
The name does, but basically it's great for predicting a yes-no outcome. Will this visitor convert or not? And the cool thing is, it also helps you see which factors are pushing that decision.
Ah, so it gives you the why as well.
To some extent, yeah. Then you have decision trees. Think of these like flow charts.
Okay, visual. I like visual.
They show the different paths customers take towards buying or, leaving. Great for spotting those critical moments or friction points in the journey.
I can see how that would be helpful.
And building on that, you have random forests. Imagine a whole bunch of decision trees all working together, pooling their knowledge.
Okay, a committee of trees.
Sort of. This often leads to more accurate predictions overall, but the model itself can get a bit more complex to interpret, kind of a black box.
Right. Accuracy versus interpretability.
Exactly. Now, for predicting conversion rates over time, especially with those seasonal bumps, time series models are your friend.
For forecasting the overall trend.
Yep. And then for really complex, subtle patterns and huge data sets, you have things like neural networks. Very powerful, but usually need a lot of data and, frankly, specialized expertise. Maybe more for the enterprise level stores.
Got it. So lots of options. How do I choose the right one for my store? It's not one size fits all, clearly.
Definitely not. It boils down to your specific goal. If you just want to predict if someone will convert yes or no classification models like logistic regression are a good starting point, it tells you who might buy and gives clues why. If you need to forecast how many conversions you'll likely get next month, maybe for planning stock or resources, then time series models are better suited.
Right, forecasting volume.
And if you want to predict how much a specific customer is likely to spend if they do convert, then other types of regression models come into play.
Okay, that clarifies things. And what kind of information, what features should we feed these models for the best conversion predictions?
Oh, the inputs are critical. Some of the strongest predictors for Shopify conversions include past purchase history. Have they bought before? How recently? How often?
Makes sense. Past behavior predicts future behavior.
Often, yeah. Time spent on specific product pages that shows real interest. Cart abandonment is a big one, adding to cart but not checking out. How they engage with your email marketing opens, clicks, the number of site visits before buying. Even how long it's been since their last visit can be very telling.
So it's really about painting a full picture of their interaction with the store.
Exactly. And remember, no model is perfect out of the box. You have to test them, see how well their predictions actually match reality.
Validate the results.
Right. And don't get obsessed with chasing like 99% accuracy if it means you end up with a model so complex nobody understands it. Sometimes a slightly less accurate but understandable model is way more valuable for making actual business decisions.
Good point. Okay, so we understand the models, the data they need. Now, to the million-dollar question, how do I actually implement these things on my Shopify store? This is where it feels like it could get tricky.
It can seem daunting, yeah, but the good news is there are paths for pretty much everyone, regardless of technical skill level. Let's start with what Shopify itself offers.
The built-in stuff. Shopify Analytics.
Exactly. Shopify Analytics gives you solid basic reports, sales, products, customers. Your main dashboard shows some trends. And if you're on Shopify Plus, Shopify Flow lets you automate some actions based on triggers.
But probably not enough for real predictive modeling.
Generally, no. For the kind of predictive models we've been talking about, forecasting future behavior, likelihood to convert, you'll likely need to go beyond the standard Shopify toolset.
Okay, so what are the options for someone who, doesn't have a data science team hiding in the back room?
For stores with limited technical resources, honestly, the Shopify App Store is your best friend.
Apps, okay.
There are tons of third-party apps specifically designed to add predictive features without you needing to code anything. Look for apps focused on personalized recommendations, customer segmentation based on predicted behavior, maybe even predictive inventory health.
So find an app that does a specific predictive job.
Exactly. Another route is using integration platforms like Zapier.
Zapier connects everything.
Pretty much. It lets you link your Shopify store to various analytics platforms or other tools and automate workflows between them, again, usually without coding. And if you want a really hands-off approach, there are managed analytics services.
Like hiring someone to do it for you.
Essentially, yeah. Experts handle the technical setup and maintenance, and they deliver the insights to you. More expensive, obviously, but requires less internal effort.
Okay. What about stores that do have some tech skills in-house? What can they do?
If you've got technical folks, your options open up quite a bit. You can use Shopify's API, their programming interface, to build custom connections to more powerful analytics platforms, or even build your own bespoke predictive solutions.
More control, more customization.
Right. Data warehousing tools like Google BigQuery or Amazon Redshift become feasible. These let you store and analyze massive amounts of Shopify data in really sophisticated ways.
Okay, for heavy-duty analysis.
And if you want to build and deploy your own machine learning models from scratch, platforms like Google's Vertex AI or Amazon SageMaker provide all the tools you need. That's definitely the high end of the technical scale, though.
So a whole spectrum of options, depending on resources. Anything key technical things to keep in mind during implementation?
Yeah, a few things. Think about timing. Do you need predictions in real time, like for showing recommendations while someone browses, or is getting predictions periodically, say a daily sales forecast, good enough? That affects the tech setup.
Real-time versus batch processing.
Exactly. Also, consider where the processing happens on the user's device or in the cloud, trade-offs there in speed, power, and complexity. And definitely mobile optimization. So much shopping happens on phones now. Any predictive features have to work flawlessly on mobile.
Good point. Any final advice on starting the technical implementation?
Yes. Start small. Don't try to boil the ocean. Pick one specific use case where you think prediction can make a real difference. Prove the value there first. Get a win. Then expand iteratively. Focus on tangible results, not just complex tech for tech's sake.
Start small, prove value, then scale. Makes sense. Okay, tech side covered. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful applications, analyzing and predicting conversions throughout the actual sales funnel.
Ah, yes, the funnel. This is where predictive analytics can be incredibly transformative. Think of that funnel as the customer's journey map.
Right, from awareness, interest, consideration, intent, all the way to conversion.
Exactly. Predictive analytics gives you X-ray vision into each stage. Instead of just looking back and saying, lots of people dropped off at checkout, predictive models can identify which current visitors are likely to bail at each specific point.
And maybe even why they might bail.
Often, yes. It can highlight patterns associated with drop-off.
Wow, so what can we do with that knowledge? How do we act on those predictions?
You get super targeted. If someone seems likely to leave early on, maybe browsing aimlessly, show them personalized product recommendations to grab their interest.
Okay.
Someone showing signs of abandoning their cart, maybe they added items, then went inactive, automatically trigger a limited time discount or a free shipping offer.
Nudge them over the finish line.
Right. Or if someone seems hesitant during checkout, maybe they keep clicking back and forth, offer a simplified one-click checkout option if you have it.
So it's about anticipating those friction points and proactively smoothing the path.
Precisely. And it's not just about predicting drop-offs. You can also forecast conversion rates for different segments.
Like based on where traffic came from or customer type.
Exactly. Which traffic sources are predicted to bring the highest converting visitors? Which customer segments respond best to certain offers? This helps you optimize your marketing spend like crazy. Focus on what's predicted to work best. You can even tailor entire journeys for different segments based on their predicted needs.
That sounds like getting much smarter with the marketing budget.
It is. And things change, right? Markets shift, seasons change. Predictive models can help create dynamic funnels that adapt.
Dynamic funnels?
Yeah, they adjust based on seasonality, maybe identify new paths to purchase you hadn't seen, even benchmark your funnel performance against competitors or industry standards if the data is available.
You mentioned real-time prediction earlier. Can you give a solid example within the funnel?
Sure. Imagine someone adds items to their cart, browses a bit more, but then hovers over the back button for a few seconds. The predictive model instantly analyzes this behavior against past patterns and calculates, say, an 80% probability of cart abandonment right now.
Okay, high risk.
Exactly. So in that moment, the system automatically triggers a pop-up. Complete your purchase now and get 5% off. Or free shipping if you check out in the next 10 minutes. That immediate personalized intervention can rescue a lot of potentially lost sales.
It's like having a super attentive virtual salesperson stepping in at the perfect moment.
That's a great way to put it, and the results show. While the average Shopify store might hover around that 1.4% conversion rate, stores effectively using predictive funnel analytics often see rates significantly higher, 3%, 4%, sometimes even more. It's not just tweaking, it's a fundamental improvement.
Okay, huge potential there. So we're optimizing the journey. Now let's talk personalization. We hear that word constantly. How does predictive analytics make it really work Go beyond just putting someone's name in an email.
You're right, personalization can be a vague buzzword. Predictive analytics lets you tailor the entire shopping experience based on deep understanding, not just surface level stuff.
So how does it enable that deeper level for a Shopify store owner? What's the mechanism?
Product recommendations are a prime example. Instead of just showing people also bought based on general trends.
Yeah, which can be hit or miss.
Exactly. Predictive engines look at that specific customer's browsing history, their past purchases, what similar customers bought, your current inventory levels, your profit margins on those items, even the predicted lifetime value of that customer.
Wow, okay. That's way more factors than I expected.
Right. It leads to recommendations that are not only highly relevant to the customer, but also strategically smart for your business.
Much more sophisticated. What else besides recommendations?
Dynamic content personalization on your site, showing different things to different people based on their predicted likelihood to convert.
Like changing the homepage banner or the text.
Could be anything. Someone predicted to be close to buying might see detailed specs, testimonials, maybe urgency messaging. Someone just browsing might see more educational content about your brand, build trust first.
So the website itself adapts to where the visitor is in their journey based on predictions.
Exactly. And even more advanced stuff involves predicting the next best action.
Next best action.
Yeah. For this specific customer right now, what's the single best thing we can do? Maybe they need reassurance about shipping. Maybe they respond well to bundle offers. Maybe they just need to see more product options. The system predicts the optimal next step.
That sounds like it gets smarter over time, too.
That's a key point. These systems learn. They see how customers respond to different personalized experiences, and they refine their predictions so they get better and more effective the more data they process.
And again, the privacy caution flag goes up. Balancing personalization with not being creepy.
Absolutely crucial. Transparency, give customers control, explain the benefits. We use this to show you things you'll actually like. When people trust you, they're generally okay with personalization that genuinely helps them.
What kind of conversion lift can stores expect from doing this well?
Stores that really nail advanced predictive personalization often see significant conversion rate increases, typically in the ballpark of 20 to 30% compared to generic experiences.
20 to 30%. That's massive. Okay, so we're making the experience personal. Let's dig even deeper now into predicting customer behavior. Understanding what they might do next feels like a superpower.
It really can be. Anticipating future actions gives you a huge advantage. Predictive analytics lets you forecast a whole range of crucial customer behaviors.
Like what specifically? What can we actually predict about their future actions?
You can forecast purchase intent and timing. Which products are they likely interested in next? When might they buy? How sensitive are they to price changes right now? This lets you time marketing messages perfectly.
Okay, knowing when to reach out.
Right. Predicting cart abandonment, obviously, we touched on that. But getting proactive about it based on predicted risk. Customer lifetime value forecasting, identifying those future VIPs early on, is massive for resource allocation.
Focusing on the high-value potential.
Exactly. And churn prediction, identifying customers who are showing signs they might not come back. This lets you jump in with proactive retention efforts before they leave for good.
So it's not just predicting sales, but predicting loyalty or lack thereof.
Precisely. And a really powerful technique is creating behavioral segments based on predicted future actions, not just past ones.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Maybe you identify a segment predicted to be high-spending holiday shoppers based on browsing patterns, wishlist activity, engagement, even if they didn't spend much last holiday season. You can then target them with specific early bird holiday campaigns.
That's much more forward-looking than just segmenting based on last year's buyers.
Exactly. But remember, the prediction itself is just step one.
Right. What's the real power?
The real power comes from the automated actions triggered by those predictions. Ideally, a churn prediction triggers a retention campaign. A high LTV prediction triggers enrollment in a loyalty program. A purchase intent prediction triggers a relevant product email.
Closing the loop. Insight to action automatically.
That's where the magic happens. Stores that do this well typically see customer retention rates 15–25% higher than those relying on older methods, and higher retention drives profitability like crazy.
15 to 25% higher retention. Wow. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Inventory. Maybe not the first thing people think of for conversions, but you mentioned stockouts earlier. How does predictive analytics help manage inventory better?
It's a fantastic point, and you're right, it's often overlooked but so critical for conversions. Nothing kills the sale faster than out of stock, right?
Yep, instant bounce.
And the flip side, too much stock ties up cash, costs money to store, might have to be heavily discounted later. It's a balancing act.
So how does predictive analytics help find that balance?
Through much, much smarter demand forecasting, instead of just looking at last year's sales.
Which might not be relevant now.
Exactly. Advanced models factor in historical sales, yes, but also seasonality, planned marketing campaigns, external events, holidays, local happenings, even weather sometimes, competitor activity, social media trends, all of it.
It's a multi-factor forecast,
Mhm.
not just simple extrapolation.
Right. It gives you a much more reliable picture of future demand. And with that better forecast, the models can help prevent stockouts.
Oh.
They can calculate the probability of running out of item X by next Tuesday, factor in supplier lead times, and automatically trigger reorders at the optimal moment, or at least send you a very loud alert.
So proactive restocking instead of reactive panic ordering.
That's the goal. And for stores with multiple warehouses or fulfillment centers, it gets even smarter.
Oh, so?
It can predict regional demand variations. Maybe swimsuits are predicted to spike in California 2 weeks before they do in New York. So you allocate inventory geographically to minimize shipping times and costs. Get the product closer to the predicted demand.
That's clever. Do you have a real-world example for inventory improvements?
Yeah, there was a fashion retailer on Shopify. They implemented predictive inventory models. Their stockout rate dropped dramatically from 8% down to less than 2%.
Oh, a huge drop.
And simultaneously, their excess inventory, the stuff sitting around too long, decreased by 24%. That efficiency boost directly led to a 15% increase in overall conversion rates just because people could actually buy what they wanted when they wanted it.
15% conversion lift just from inventory management. That really shows how interconnected it all is.
It really does. And the best approach integrates this with marketing and pricing. If your models predict a surplus of, say, winter coats coming up, you can automatically tweak marketing to promote those coats more heavily, maybe run a targeted flash sale to move that inventory before it becomes a bigger problem. Dynamic adjustments based on the forecast.
Linking inventory predictions directly to marketing actions. Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk marketing itself. Lots of Shopify owners feel like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall sometimes, hoping something sticks.
Yeah, the spaghetti method. It's common. Marketing without predictive insights can feel like that maybe you get lucky, but it's hard to know why or repeat it consistently. Predictive analytics adds that layer of data-driven intelligence.
So how can we use predictions to make our marketing dollars actually work harder, drive more conversions?
A big one is campaign performance prediction. Before you launch, models can forecast likely results.
Like predict the conversion rate of a campaign.
Yeah, predict conversion rates by segment, predict which ad created might resonate best, even help figure out the optimal budget split across channels, Facebook versus Google versus email, etc., to maximize your overall ROI. Imagine knowing that before you spend the big bucks.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Reduce the guesswork significantly.
Exactly. And it goes beyond single campaigns. Predictive attribution modeling helps understand the true impact of each touchpoint.
Moving beyond just last click attribution.
Way beyond. Which combinations of channels work best? How long does it typically take someone to convert after seeing an ad? It helps you allocate credit and budget to what's really driving sales, not just the final interaction.
Getting a much clearer picture of the whole customer journey influence.
Absolutely. Predictive analytics can also guide your content strategy. What topics are likely to drive engagement and conversions? What formats, video, blog, social work best for certain messages? Even the optimal time to publish content to reach the right people.
So creating content that's strategically designed to move people towards a purchase, not just entertain them?
Precisely. And email marketing. Still huge for Shopify. Predictive models can optimize send times per subscriber, suggest the specific products most likely to interest that person, personalize subject lines for higher open rates, even find the ideal email frequency to avoid burnout.
Hyper-personalized email, basically.
Pretty much. Delivering the right message, right product, right person, right time. And another powerful tactic is real-time budget allocation.
How does that work?
If your models predict, say, that Facebook ads are poised for a much higher conversion rate this weekend for your target audience compared to Google ads, the system can automatically shift more budget to Facebook in real time to capitalize.
Dynamically optimizing ad spend based on immediate predictions? That sounds super efficient. What kind of ROI improvements do stores see with this?
Stores that really lean into predictive marketing optimization often see a 20–40% improvement in return on ad spend. We saw a skincare brand on Shopify cut their customer acquisition cost by 32%,
Right.
while keeping the same customer volume just by reallocating budget based on predictive insights.
Those are compelling numbers.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're using predictions for smarter marketing. Now, how do we know if it's all actually working? Measuring success seems crucial.
Absolutely critical. You can't improve what you don't measure. And the key is establishing clear baseline metrics before you start implementing anything predictive. You need that before picture.
What metrics should we be tracking as our baseline and then monitoring afterwards?
You need the obvious ones. Overall conversion rate, but also conversion rates for key segments you're targeting. Average order value, customer lifetime value, that's a big one.
Right.
Marketing ROI, definitely. Inventory turnover rate, are you moving stock faster? Stock out frequency, are you preventing lost sales? Tracking these consistently shows the business impact.
Okay, set the benchmarks. Then how do we best measure the actual lift from the predictive stuff?
A/B testing is the gold standard here. Split your audience. Group A gets the standard experience. Group B gets the experience driven by predictive insights like personalized recommendations. Compare the results head to head. That shows direct impact.
Controlled experiments.
Exactly. You also need to track the accuracy of the predictive models themselves. Compare predictions to actual outcomes. Look at metrics like accuracy, precision, recall. How often was the model right? When it predicted a conversion, did it happen? Of all conversions, how many did it catch?
So tracking both the business results and the model performance.
Yes. And remember, perfection isn't the goal for model accuracy. A model that's, say, 70% accurate can still be incredibly valuable if it's driving better decisions than you'd make without it. Finally, calculate the ROI of the whole initiative.
The return on investment.
Yep. Track the revenue lift, the cost savings from efficiency, and weigh that against the costs of the tools, implementation, maintenance. You need to prove it's paying for itself.
It sounds like a comprehensive dashboard is needed, tracking both business KPIs and model health.
Ideally, yes, and a crucial point. Models degrade over time, customer behavior changes, markets shift. Model accuracy will decline if you don't maintain them. You need a process for regular monitoring and retraining with fresh data.
So it's not set and forget. It's an ongoing process.
Definitely ongoing. Measurement, analysis, refinement, repeat.
Okay, that makes sense. Now that we know how to measure it, let's get inspired. Can you share some specific success stories, real Shopify stores using this?
Absolutely. Seeing it in action really helps. We've seen wins across different store sizes and niches.
Great, let's hear a few. Start small, maybe.
Okay, so a small boutique clothing store. Just starting out, limited resources. They used a simple, off-the-shelf Shopify app for predictive cart abandonment and basic inventory forecasting.
Okay, an app store solution.
Right. They saw their cart abandonment rate drop from a scary 78% down to 53%, and their inventory turn improved by 42%. Key lesson. Even simple tools can deliver real value. You don't need a massive custom build to start.
That's really encouraging for smaller merchants. What about a mid-market example?
A growing health supplements brand on Shopify Plus. They invested a bit more, built custom models for predicting LTV and customer churn.
Focusing on customer value and retention.
Exactly. Results. 28% reduction in customer acquisition costs because they focused on predicted high LTV prospects. And their 6-month retention rate jumped from 31% to 47% by proactively targeting at-risk customers identified by the churn model. Lesson. Customer-level predictions offer huge ROI.
Big jump in retention. Okay. How about a larger, more complex setup?
Enterprise level, multi-brand retailer on Shopify Plus. Complex inventory across brands. They built a custom predictive platform integrated via API.
A bespoke solution.
Yep. Optimized inventory, coordinated marketing based on predicted demand. Their overall conversion rate increased from 2.1% to 3.4%. Marketing efficiency improved by 35%. Lesson. Custom solutions really pay off for complex businesses with unique needs.
And what about specific industries, say seasonal products?
Good question. A store selling seasonal outdoor gear, highly dependent on weather trends. They built a predictive demand forecast, incorporating not just sales history, but weather forecasts and search trend data.
Bringing in external data.
Crucial for them. Results. Stockouts reduced by 64%. Excess inventory cut by 27%. Lesson. Industry-specific factors and external data can be vital inputs for accurate predictions.
Looking across these stories, any common threads for success?
Definitely. Clear objectives, they knew what problem they were solving, started small, proved value, then scaled. Huge focus on data quality, garbage in, garbage out. Closed-loop systems predictions, automatically triggered actions, and rigorous measurement tracking the impact constantly.
Clear objectives, start small, good data, automated actions, measure everything.
Got it.
These stories sound great, but let's be real. What are the challenges,
Yeah.
limitations? What hurdles should store owners expect?
Very important to cover this. It's not all magic wands. Data issues are probably the most common hurdle.
Like what kind of issues?
Not having enough historical data, especially for newer stores, or the data is messy, inconsistent, full of errors, incomplete, or it's stuck in different silos, marketing data here, sales data there, support data somewhere else, and they don't talk to each other.
So how do you overcome those data hurdles?
If data is limited, focus on collecting high-quality data now. Make the most of what you have. Maybe look into anonymized industry benchmarks if available. For messy or siloed data, prioritize cleaning and integrating your most critical data sources first. Use data integration tools. Start there.
Okay, focus on cleaning the core data. What other challenges pop up?
Technical expertise and resources. Not everyone has data scientists on staff. Implementation and ongoing maintenance can seem daunting.
And the solution there?
Start with user-friendly apps, like we discussed. Use low-code to no-code platforms. Hire consultants just for the initial setup and training if needed. Don't feel you have to build everything custom from day one.
Right. Leverage available tools and help. What about privacy again? That must be a constant concern.
Absolutely. Privacy regulations, building customer trust, preventing data breaches, it's a huge responsibility.
How to manage that?
Privacy by design. Embed privacy thinking into everything. Be super transparent with customers. Give them control. Use anonymized or aggregated data where possible. Invest in strong security. It's non-negotiable.
And limitations to the models themselves. They aren't crystal balls, right?
Exactly. Models decay. Their accuracy fades over time as the world changes. They need retraining. Unexpected events like, say, a global pandemic can throw historical patterns out the window. And there's always the risk of over-reliance, treating predictions as gospel without applying human judgment.
So monitor, retrain, use common sense.
Precisely. Keep humans in the loop.
Any final advice on avoiding pitfalls?
Yeah. Don't try to do too much too soon. That's the biggest mistake I see. Pick one high-impact use case. Nail it. Show the value. Then and only then, expand. Resist the urge to implement 10 predictive models at once.
Start focused, get a win, then grow. Good advice. Okay, looking ahead now, what's coming next? What emerging trends in predictive analytics should Shopify owners have on their radar?
Oh, things are moving fast, mainly fueled by AI advancements.
AI, of course. How's that changing things?
We're seeing much more sophisticated AI models, deep learning, finding really subtle patterns. Natural language processing, NLP, analyzing customer reviews or support chats to predict sentiment or future needs. Even computer vision analyzing product images to see what visual elements drive clicks or conversions.
Analyzing images predictively. Wow.
Yeah, it's coming. Another big trend is the democratization of these tools.
Making them easier for everyone to use.
Exactly. AutoML platforms that build models for you. More pre-built models tailored for e-commerce, more intuitive interfaces. The goal is to make predictive power accessible even without a PhD in statistics.
That's huge for smaller businesses.
Absolutely. We're also seeing growth in voice commerce and conversational analytics, predicting needs from voice queries, optimizing chatbot flows. Visual search is another one, predicting interest based on image uploads or interactions.
Shopping with pictures and voice.
And predicting based on that interaction. And finally, a big push towards privacy-first prediction. Techniques like federated learning or differential privacy that allow models to learn from data without compromising individual user privacy as much.
So smarter predictions while respecting privacy more.
That's the direction. Forward-thinking merchants are already playing with AI personalization, visual search prediction. Expect tighter integration of these capabilities right into the Shopify platform itself over time.
Sounds like the future is definitely predictive. This has been incredibly insightful. It's clear predictive analytics isn't just hype anymore. It's a real, accessible tool for Shopify stores.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from reacting to proactively shaping your future. We've seen how it optimizes funnels, personalizes experiences, anticipates behavior, streamlines inventory, boosts marketing. It touches everything.
So for everyone listening, thinking, okay, I need to do this, what are the practical first steps right now, today?
Okay, practical steps. 1, identify just one area where better prediction could have the biggest impact for you. Is it cart abandonment? Inventory? Marketing spend. Pick one.
Focus.
2, audit your current data for that specific area. Is it clean? Accessible? 3, explore the Shopify App Store or other tools specifically for that predictive use case. See what's available.
Research solutions.
4, implement a small test. A/B test it if you can. Measure the impact. Does it actually move the needle?
Test to measure.
And 5, if you see positive results, then build on that success. Expand to another use case. Refine the first one. Iterate.
Start small, test, learn, expand. It really feels like the future belongs to those who can anticipate, who can predict, not just analyze the past.
That's the bottom line. So the final thought for everyone listening: how will you start using your store's data, the data you already have, to see into the future and get that critical edge?
And remember, Shopify store owners can supercharge their sales with Growth Suite. It's an all-in-one solution that includes advanced predictive analytics to forecast conversions and optimize your entire sales funnel.
Definitely worth checking out.
Try it today and turn your store's data into a powerful tool for future success. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.